Hi, this is E.T. The following story comes from newspapers, magazines from the 1920s. It also comes from books. Now, is the account true? Well, you decide. Astrologists, soothsayers, mediums, all very active during the 1920s. And this was especially true in the nation's capital of Washington, D.C. One example is Madame Marcia Champney, very famous among the fashionable of the U.S. Capitol. She was famous for correctly predicting that number one, convicted murderer Roland Molyneux would not get the electric chair, and predicting number two, that an accused murderess, Nan Patterson, would be acquitted. And she's also famous for predicting, roughly around 1910, 1911, that a Mrs. Norman Galt, a rich widow, would soon become the First Lady of the United States. Now, that's very unlikely, considering that President Taft was happily married and he was also popular with the electorate. Everybody thought he'd be reelected in 1912. But it is a fact that in December of 1915, the widow Galt became the wife of President Woodrow Wilson. He won election to the presidency in 1912. And that was because a former president, Teddy Roosevelt, ran as a third party candidate, split the Republican vote, and put Taft out of office. Okay, predicting the outcome of two murder cases and that a widow would soon become wife of a president, well, that seems very convincing. It seems to indicate that Madame Marcia could actually read the future. But upon closer inspection, all of this is not quite as convincing. Yes, Marcia did predict that Roland Molyneux would not be executed, but months of publicity of this 1900 murder case provided enough information to suggest that the death penalty might be overturned by a technicality, which, by the way, it was. And she did predict Nan Patterson would be acquitted, but that too was a well publicized case, including her several trials all over the nation. Crowds were meeting, holding up signs that read "Free Nan Patterson," mobs outside of courthouses shouting, "She's done nothing wrong." So, Madame Marcia's predictions here are not that astounding. Keep in mind, she was very well read and a practiced astrologist. Also, Marcia's prediction that the widow Galt would become First Lady can be explained. It was clear at the time Marcia met with Mrs. Galt and several other wives of senators. This was sometime around 1910, 1911. It was clear that President Taft's party, the Republicans, might very well split. And supporters of a former president, Teddy Roosevelt, in 1912 would challenge Taft either at the convention or on a third party ticket. Well, both of those happened, and that would guarantee that a Democrat nominee would become the next U.S. president. It was also well understood that Woodrow Wilson could become the Democratic nominee in 1912. He was a very well publicized New Jersey governor. It was also known that the first Mrs. Wilson had a very serious kidney disorder, Bright's disease, and at that time it had a fatal prognosis. Given all this, is it also possible that Woodrow Wilson and Mrs. Galt may have met long before their reported first introduction of early 1915? We know that many rumors abounded at the time to that effect. And you may ask yourself, is it possible the two people, both subject to much press scrutiny, could nonetheless maintain a secret life years before their official meeting? Well, look at these two. Yeah, it's possible. And that story about predicting Mrs. Galt becoming the First Lady appears itself to have conflicting origins. Did it originate with Marcia herself? Did it come from the other wives present, including Mrs. Galt? Maybe all of them? Well, the documentation in the books is somewhat vague. E.T. believes the meeting did take place. Probably a prediction was made. Whatever, there is no question that Madame Marcia did meet with and make accurate predictions to the wife of another future president. You want to find out the details? Watch the next episode of The First Lady and the Astrologist. This is E.T. Hit the thumbs up icon if you like the video. Also hit the bell icon if you want to be notified of further uploads. And type in your comments below. Thank you.